Meet Erica Simons, a 20-year-old connoisseur of teenage romance dramas. In her youth, she yearned for the sparkling school life seen on the silver screen, longing to curate her diary like the heroine of her own cinematic masterpiece. She fantasized about a sanctuary of pure pink, defying her mother's stern objections. Above all, she craved a breathtaking romance with a handsome lead. Yet, reality was a cruel cage, a world painted in desaturated shades of gray. Desperate to escape this suffocating existence, she found no joy in decorating diaries. Instead, her life was consumed by the endless grid of a study planner. A pink paradise impossible? How could she decorate a bleak, rented cell designed solely for exam preparation? Even a single poster was forbidden, and her romantic leads just creepy strangers at bus stops begging for survey answers. Let's face it, at her age, the window for becoming the star of a sparkling teen movie had firmly slammed shut. Erica glanced at her phone, and dread washed over her. Only 30 days remained until the hellish college entrance exams. She possessed a warrior's resolve to pass, knowing she had to sacrifice her very soul for a spot in university. But the weight of exhaustion crushed her willpower, and darkness began to creep into her vision. A sudden jolt, she snapped awake, panic rising as she wondered how much precious study time she had lost to the void. Sick to death of the endless cycle, she reached for her tablet, a fleeting escape before the chains of reading pulled her back. She rationalized her indulgence, deciding to watch American films under the flimsy pretense of studying English. Craving novelty, she selected a title that screamed cliché, Once Upon a One-Night Mistake, expecting a hilarious parody of classic tropes. She watched with the cynical eye of a critic, lamenting the lost morals of today's youth like a grumpy grandmother. As the plot unfolded, she realized the leads were childhood friends. She scoffed, muttering that a single night with a best friend was hardly the apocalypse. Yet, despite her cynicism, the sweet poison of the drama captivated her completely. She set the device aside, her heart aching with a singular, burning desire to be the main character of her own teenage saga. Green envy gnawed at her soul. Shackled by exams, she couldn't even dream of a single date, let alone a romance. A heavy sigh escaped her lips, just once. She wished to feel the electric touch of true love before she died. As sleep claimed her again, magic shimmered in the air. In the gloom of her room, a tiny, fairy-like entity manifested, watching her with ancient eyes. Wielding a glowing wand, the creature whispered a vow to weave Erica's deepest desire into reality. Into her slumbering mind, the being cast a command: seek your true love within the world your heart cherishes most. Thump. Thump. A pounding rhythm echoed in her ears. Was it music, or the frantic beating of her own heart? Her eyes snapped open, sapphire blue irises widened in shock, framed by cascading waves of unfamiliar, beautiful brown hair. Reality had shifted. She stood in the chaotic heart of a nightclub, surrounded by strangers, a mysterious cocktail already in her hand. She stumbled slightly. These towering heels were foreign to a girl who lived in sneakers. She stared at the glass champagne lemonade around her. Women in sleek, glamorous outfits blurred into a scene of utter absurdity. The pulsing crowd, the lights, the energy, it looked exactly like the set of a high-budget teen drama. Because of the relentless exam hell, Erica had never once stepped foot inside a club. A single tear of pure joy traced her cheek. If this was a dream, she would savor every second. It was finally her time to shine. Seizing the moment, she marched to the bar and slammed down an order for 3 rounds, leaving the bartender completely bewildered. She stormed back to the floor, swearing a solemn oath to party until her legs gave out. After all, dreams have no consequences. Meanwhile, at the bar, the plot began to thicken. Intoxicated girls fawned over a dark-haired boy named Sebastian, wishing him a happy birthday, but his eyes held nothing but cold indifference. It was his 18th birthday, yet he felt like a prisoner. He watched the revelry with disdain, wondering how such trivial things brought them joy. Deciding to drown his boredom, Sebastian resolved to drink alone until oblivion took him. His friend Michael, sensing the mood, refused to let him rot. "Why are you stuck here?" he laughed, shoving Sebastian toward the pulsating dance floor. Sebastian moved through the crowd, an aura of icy detachment separating him from the heat of the room. Amidst the sea of drunken chaos, he was the only sober island. But then, a flash of light revealed someone who didn't belong. He had never seen her before. Erica stood there, radiant and transformed, a a stark contrast to the mundane world she had left behind. As he admired her ethereal beauty, something impossible happened. Sebastian's cold heart skipped a beat. The party wasn't boring anymore. Across the ocean of bodies, Erica squinted through the strobe lights, searching for a focal point. Her gaze landed on Sebastian. Standing there alone, he possessed a divine beauty that eclipsed every man she had ever imagined. Erica floated through the euphoria, praying this sweet dream would never end. But reality intruded with a voice calling out the name, Tiffany. Before she could react, a shadowy figure loomed over her. A man stood before her, demanding attention, though he lacked the charisma of a true male lead. His persistent nagging pierced her thoughts until his patience snapped, and he barked at her to stop the silent treatment. The sheer audacity of his tone caught Erica completely off guard. She fired back, telling him to control his drunken temper. But her defiance only fueled his rage as he aggressively stepped into her personal space. Desperate to escape his suffocating presence, she stumbled back, her high heel betraying her at the worst possible moment. Gravity took hold, and time seemed to freeze. But just before disaster struck, strong arms caught her. The handsome stranger from across the room had intervened. Sebastian held her firmly by the waist, his cold gaze piercing the aggressor, Stanley. But Stanley only sneered, warning him not to meddle in private affairs. Sebastian demanded to know their relationship, but didn't wait for an answer before delivering an ultimatum: leave now, or the security team would remove him by force. Sparks flew between the two alpha males, while Erica, exhausted by the drama, simply wished to banish them both from her subconscious. Retreating with a bruised ego, Stanley glared back, vowing that Sebastian would pay a heavy price for this humiliation. As the storm passed, a wave of relief washed over Erica. The pest was finally gone. Sebastian turned his gaze to her, eyes filled with concern. Erica felt her breath hitch, mesmerized by his otherworldly beauty. Lost in his gaze, she stammered a thank you, only to be floored when he extended a hand and asked for a dance. Joy exploded in her chest. If this was a hallucination, it was undoubtedly the most exquisite dream of her entire existence. The morning sun pierced through the curtains, illuminating a chaotic scene of discarded clothing strewn across the luxury suite. Erica roused with a pounding headache, rubbing the sleep from her eyes until a shocking detail froze her blood. Beside her lay a large, masculine hand and a muscular leg. Her mind raced in total confusion. It was him, Sebastian. Even in sleep, he looked like a sculpted statue, leaving her breathless and terrified. Fragments of memory flooded back: the drinks, the stumble, and the moment he saved her from the fall. Clutching the sheets to her chest, the cold truth slammed into her: this was no dream. Erica scrambled out of bed, questioning her sanity as she frantically scanned the unfamiliar room. The evidence was undeniable. She had slept with Sebastian. Rejecting reality, she retreated from the bed, wrapping the sheet tighter around her trembling frame. Her foot crunched on something on the floor. She picked it up, her face paling as she recognized the torn foil of a contraceptive wrapper. Panic constricted her throat. Had she just lost her innocence in a drunken haze? How could this happen in her real life? She hadn't even held hands with a man, yet here she was in a scandalous situation. She froze before the full-length mirror. The reflection staring back was beautiful, strange, yet hauntingly familiar. A sense of déjà vu washed over her. A high society party. A one-night stand. She knew this plot. Disbelief turned to horror. She had transmigrated into a teen drama novel, desperate to escape. She dashed into the arriving elevator. Frustration boiled over as she sprinted through the hotel lobby, her only goal to put miles between her and that room. In her haste, she collided hard with a stranger. She looked up in shock, only to find him gazing at her as if he'd seen an angel. He immediately apologized and checked on her, but Erica's eyes went straight to the dark coffee stain spreading across her dress. Erica brushed off his concern, muttering that she was fine and signaling for him to back off. She groaned internally at the mounting complications, but the young man refused to let her go, insisting she was clearly in distress. Recognizing her dress as a rare piece from Colton Couture, he declared it a crime against fashion to leave such a garment ruined. Erica narrowed her eyes, wondering if he cared more about the fabric or the girl, until he suddenly raised a hand toward her. Instinct took over. Outraged by his boldness, Erica swiftly raised her arm to block his advance. But his touch was gentle. He was only checking for burns. Holding her gaze, He offered to drive her home to change. A warm, disarming smile spread across his face as he introduced himself simply as Jude. Erica opened her mouth to reply, but her mind went blank. Minutes later, seated in his car, she still couldn't recall whose body she was inhabiting. As he drove, Jude casually asked if she was one of the Raymonds. The name struck her like a lightning bolt. Of course, she was Tiffany Raymond, the novel's character. Jude continued, asking about her sisters, Marika and Vanessa. Erica nodded slowly, playing the part, though she had absolutely no clue who those people were. Jude's voice broke the silence as he asked if the alcohol still held her in its sway. Erica turned to face him, meeting the young man's gentle, disarming smile. A thought crossed the protagonist's mind. He had been incredibly kind to her, especially considering they were practically strangers. Perhaps Jude was simply a soul who lived to please others. Regardless, Erica realized the situation was in her favor. Clearly, he knew Tiffany's younger sisters, which was a vital piece of the puzzle. On the other hand, she assumed the truth was waiting for her. She would uncover everything, including the mystery of the twins, the moment she arrived home, or rather, at the grand estate of Tiffany Raymond. But a shadow of uncertainty loomed over her heart. What exactly did destiny have in store for her from this moment on? Meanwhile, back at the hotel suite, the door creaked open to reveal Sebastian, shirtless and disheveled, a masterpiece of mourning after chaos. His gaze fell upon his friends, who looked utterly destroyed by the previous night's wild revelry. The guys groaned, asking if his night had been worth the pain. Sebastian glanced at the blonde, dragging the others inside with a look of pure aristocratic disdain. Everyone was completely defeated by the partying. The four of them collapsed onto the bed, crushed by hangovers that felt like hammers striking their skulls. Michael, the blonde friend, broke the silence. He asked if Sebastian had actually dragged someone back to the apartment last night. A smirk played on Sebastian's lips. He replied that he certainly did, though the girl's name had escaped his memory. All he knew was that she was sinfully sexy. Michael pressed on, asking if he was talking about the blonde from last time, or if this was fresh prey. Sebastian shrugged nonchalantly, admitting he had absolutely no idea who she was, but the image was burned into his mind. Sebastian described a vision of perfection, mesmerizing blue eyes and long, cascading brown hair. Lost in thought, Sebastian couldn't shake her from his head. Where was she? Did she belong to another man while he daydreamed? Michael turned to Marcus, asking if he had managed to get lucky. Marcus sighed, admitting that he almost did. But he had discovered a fatal flaw: the girl was a virgin. Michael scoffed, his tone dripping with judgment. He asked if his friend really spared her just because of some romantic notion that the first time had to be special. Marcus turned beet red with embarrassment, offering no defense. That is actually quite noble of you, another guy chimed in. Sebastian just rolled his eyes, irritated by their pathetic, ridiculous conversation. Finally, Sebastian snapped and sprang from the bed. He claimed his head was splitting and he refused to listen to another word of this nonsense. Marcus, too, was completely fed up with the subject. Suddenly, the red-haired friend froze. Something glinted on the floor beside the bed. A ring. The sight of it instantly seized Sebastian's attention. He snatched the jewelry from his friend's hand, who retorted by asking if it even belonged to him. "It belongs to her," Sebastian declared, his mind racing. He deduced she must have dropped it during her stealthy escape that morning. Marcus asked how on earth Sebastian planned to return it, considering he didn't even know the girl's name. Another friend teased, asking if he needed help tracking her down. Sebastian fell silent, ignoring the barrage of questions. He raised a hand, commanding them to stop. He would handle this situation personally. He strode to the window, issuing orders with absolute authority. "Marcus, get me the guest list from last night. Do not leave a single name out." A predator's smile curled on his lips. Sebastian vowed that he would find this girl, no matter the cost. Scene transition. A blue car screeched to a sudden halt in front of a massive, white wooden estate. This must be the place, Erica realized. She thanked him for the ride, but Jude looked concerned. "Aren't you going to be in trouble?" Erica tilted her head, confused. Jude clarified, asking if her parents wouldn't be furious that she didn't come home last night. Surprised, Erica asked Jude if that wasn't a normal thing to do. She had assumed North American culture was far more liberal than her own. Taking no chances, Erica entered the house on tiptoe, moving like a shadow to avoid waking anyone. Her heart raced as she realized how lucky she was. If Jude hadn't warned her, she would have walked right into a disaster. Suddenly, a presence loomed over her. A man stood on the steps of the living room staircase, staring her down. She assumed this imposing figure was Tiffany's father. His voice was stern. "Where have you been all this time?" Just then, the twins materialized in the living room. Erica realized these were the sisters Jude mentioned. They shot her a subtle wink they were covering for her. The girls turned to the paternal figure with innocent faces. They claimed they were all studying for a math test at Jude's house yesterday, and she ended up crashing there. "We begged Jude to let our sister sleep over," they insisted. Erica nodded frantically, agreeing with everything, shocked. Tiffany's father asked how his daughter slept at a boy's house. One of the twins waved her hand dismissively. "Dad, calm down. It's fine because Jude doesn't like girls." In the background, Erica's eyes went wide with shock at this revelation. Seizing the moment, Erica and the twins scrambled upstairs. The father sighed, defeated, calling out that she still should have called and that they would discuss this later. As Erica retreats toward her sanctuary, the twins intercept her. They demand to uncover her secret whereabouts and expose deeds. Eyes gleaming with suspicion, one twin accuses her of an illicit romantic rendezvous. Erica dodges the interrogation, promising a full debrief later as she escapes into her room. Finally alone, she changes into her sleepwear and collapses onto the soft mattress, utterly drained. A bitter irony washes over her. She used to claim she loved American dramas, but becoming a character inside one is a completely different nightmare. She tosses and turns, wrestling with reality. How did her life spiral into this cliché teen script? Her mind races back, grasping for the trigger, the last memory before the shift. She was binge-watching this very show. Suddenly, her phone explodes with activity. Vibration and ringtones shatter her thoughts. The screen displays a terrifying notification, 46 unread messages. Panic sets in. The texts are from Tiffany's mother, demanding the return of a promised item, a priceless family heirloom passed down through generations. The ring. Confusion clouds Erica's mind. A ring. She possesses no such treasure. The words make no sense. She has absolutely nothing of value on her person. Then, memory strikes like a lightning bolt. She wore it to the party, and at the apartment with Sebastian. A cold chill runs down her spine. She left the priceless heirloom behind in Sebastian's apartment. Meanwhile, in the luxury penthouse, Sebastian scours the guest list with obsessive focus. Erica's name is nowhere to be found. His friends exchange skeptical glances. Michael dares to ask the impossible question, did Sebastian really see her? Or is he chasing a ghost? Sebastian feels a crushing weight of disappointment. He was certain the list held the key to finding her. 2 hours of searching yield nothing. He realizes that scrutinizing these papers is a futile waste of time. Yet, staring at the list, he wonders about her origins. Erica has branded herself onto his mind, and he cannot shake her image. Past romances fade into grayness compared to this. The intensity he feels for Erica is unlike anything he has ever known. She was so perfect, so unique. He almost believed she was a beautiful hallucination. He might have accepted it as a dream, were it not for one thing. The ring. It is the only proof she exists, and his only hope of seeing her again. How could he fall so hard, so fast it defies logic for someone of his status? After all, he is the Sebastian Phillips. 5 days later, Erica lounges by the pool at Tiffany's mansion, soaking in the sun and the opulence for the first time. It is just like the shows. She remembers how she used to envy these lavish settings from the other side of the screen. Who knew she would be the one living this life? But reality hits. She has been idling away for 5 whole days since dropping into this world. During this time, she has gathered crucial intelligence about her host family. It is a classic broken home scenario. Parents separated since birth. Father remarried with new kids, while the mother remains alone. The father is Charles, the stepmother, Catherine, and the twin stepsisters, Vanessa and Marissa. She also uncovered that Tiffany was an LA girl living with her mom until recently moving to Washington, D.C. to live with her father's new dynasty. And the most critical detail, her mother is Andrea Colton, the legendary chief designer of Colton Couture. The pieces fit together. That ring is not just jewelry, It is a priceless heirloom she carelessly lost at the party. Engaging her expert knowledge of drama tropes, Erica comes to a startling conclusion. This is a twisted Cinderella story. Recovering the lost ring is likely the key to clearing this level and escaping this teenage drama world, but anxiety gnaws at her. How can she possibly retrieve it without exposing her identity? Her memory of the fairy tale is fuzzy. Seeing her distress, Jude, lounging nearby, steps in to soothe her nerves. He dismisses her worries and offers a distraction and invitation to the most legendary party at Georgetown Trinity. When she questions the event, Jude grins. It is hosted by the school's biggest rich kid, meaning the entire social elite will be there. That means he might be there. The mysterious guy from that night could be in attendance. Erica sees her chance to reclaim the ring. She turns to Jude with a desperate request, "Be my fairy godmother." Jude's closet is a treasure trove of high fashion. He smiles mischievously, ready to begin the transformation. It seems the artist is more excited than the muse. Jude is eager to create his masterpiece. He tosses designer garments her way, checking every detail to ensure the perfect fit. As he applies the makeup, he praises her flawless canvas. "Close your eyes," he commands, preparing to cast his spell and turn her into the Queen of D. The brushstrokes are complete. Erica opens her eyes and faces the mirror. The reflection takes her breath away. Overwhelmed with joy, she begs Jude to be her stylist for eternity. Jude laughs, warning her that his fees are astronomical. Cut to the venue, the bass is already thumping as they arrive at the scene of destiny. Jude and Erica scanned the sea of faces by the shimmering pool. Jude grinned, assuring her that the city's entire social elite had gathered in this very spot. Erica paused, mesmerized by the women around her. Every single one of them radiated a dazzling beauty that seemed almost impossible. Then she remembered this wasn't reality. She was living inside an American teen drama. Finally, she could wear the glamorous outfits she had only ever dreamed of. In moments, a crowd swarmed around Jude like moths to a flame. It was clear her friend possessed the kind of popularity that ruled this world. Realizing he could handle the spotlight, Erica hardened her resolve. She had a mission: find the mystery man who held her fate and her ring in his hands. After all, parties like this were hunting grounds for connections. This was the perfect stage to track him down. Yet, who could have guessed a single, small ring held the power to twist a person's entire destiny? Suddenly, he grasped her hand, pulling her away from the noise. His voice dropped to a whisper, confessing that he feared she was just a beautiful illusion from his dreams. So Erica's heart fluttered. Sweet words falling from the lips of a man with such a godlike face were dangerous indeed. Sebastian leaned in, asking for her name. Caught in the moment, she smiled and answered, "I am Tiffany Raymonds." Sebastian froze, his eyes widening in shock. Tiffany Raymonds, the stick girl. Erica blinked, completely lost. What on earth was a stick girl? She recoiled instantly. He dropped his name like a bomb, Sebastian Phillips. The name meant absolutely nothing to her. Erica feigned ignorance, demanding he return her ring, all while wondering why his gaze had suddenly turned ice cold. Shock flashed across his face. He couldn't believe she was pretending not to know him. With a bitter sneer, he remarked that the aggressor never remembers their crimes. Sebastian accused her point blank. "You tried to kill me." Disbelief washed over him. Had he really slept with the stick girl? He interrogated her, asking if she hadn't fled to Los Angeles after her disgrace. His words were a chaotic riddle to her. She could only focus on retrieving that ring. The scene shifts as Sebastian storms back into his apartment, throwing the door open in frustration. His friends immediately swarmed him, sensing the storm cloud over his head. He confessed he had found the mystery girl from the party, but a dark twist hung over the news. It was Tiffany Raymonds. His friends froze in shock. One friend stammered, asking if he meant that Tiffany, his sworn nemesis from their school days. Sebastian's mind drifted back, unlocking the vault of their volatile childhood memories. It was a war of nicknames. He was Crybaby, she was Stick Girl. From haircutting incidents to food fights and academic warfare, they were at each other's throats until that fateful baseball game. It all spiraled down when Sebastian called a controversial foul against her. Tiffany refused to accept the call, fueling the fire. Sebastian and his clique mocked her relentlessly, pushing her to the breaking point. Snap. The stick girl finally exploded. In a blind rage, she swung the bat, shattering Sebastian's arm in 3 distinct places. That violent act led to her immediate expulsion. Back in the present, his friends marveled that the scrawny stick girl had blossomed into a stunning beauty. Still skeptical, one friend pressed him, asking if he was 100% certain it was truly her. Meanwhile, Erica was drowning in despair, failing to reclaim the ring, her only key to returning to the life she once knew. In a luxurious setting miles away, a woman with flowing platinum hair paced through the living room, heading toward the shimmering pool while clutching her phone. Sebastian picked up, his voice guarded. She purred into the receiver, confessing she missed him and fishing for the same sentiment. Sebastian didn't deny it, admitting he missed the passionate nights they had shared. A tease lingered in her voice as she revealed her return to Washington, D.C., hinting that a reunion was inevitable. Erica stood before the sprawling courtyard of an American high school, feeling like she had stepped onto a movie set, seeing a world she only knew from teenage dramas. Standing in the grand courtyard with the twins, the air hummed with excitement as one of them confessed just how much she had missed the academy life. The campus was an empire in itself, so vast you would need a limousine to cross it, filled with students whose uniforms looked more like haute couture from a Fashion Week runway. For Erica, this was paradise found. It was the absolute freedom of the shoujo teenage dramas she had worshipped since elementary school, finally brought to life before her eyes. However, she quickly shook off the daydream and steeled her resolve. She could not forget her true mission here to retrieve the mysterious lost ring. Yet, panic began to set in as she gazed across the sprawling grounds. In a place this massive, how on earth was she supposed to cross paths with Sebastian? Suddenly, she realized she was alone. The twins had vanished into the throng, one surrounded by her clique of friends, and the other walking arm in arm with a boyfriend. They had seamlessly slipped into their roles, one the dazzling cheerleader queen, and the other the sophisticated intellectual diva. The shrill ring of the school bell shattered the moment. Erica's heart raced. She absolutely could not afford to be late on her very first day. Desperate to get inside, she plunged into the sea of students, fighting against the tide of bodies pressing toward the entrance. Breathless, she made it to the classroom just as the teacher began the roll call. Jesse Adams answered with confidence, followed immediately by Gage. Then came the moment of truth. The teacher called out for Tiffany Raymonds. Erica swallowed her nerves and answered, fully stepping into her new identity. Instantly, the atmosphere shifted. A wave of hushed whispers swept through the room, and cold sweat trickled down her back as she wondered what dark rumors were already circulating. Whispers snaked through the air behind her. Classmates buzzed with the latest scandal. Is it true the exiled queen, Tiffany, has returned? And the burning question on everyone's lips, does Sebastian know? Erica shoots a sharp glance over her shoulder. Instantly, the gossip mongers freeze, feigning innocence as if the air hadn't just been thick with their poison. A hush falls over the room. Heavy, deliberate footsteps echo from the hallway, signaling a presence that demands attention. It is him. Sebastian. Erica's eyes widen in disbelief of all the seats in this cursed academy. His desk is placed directly beside hers. Sebastian scoffs the moment he realizes his misfortune. Groaning about being stuck with her, Erica shoots back, asking if he thinks this arrangement is a prize for her. Either, but immediate regret washes over her. She needs to change tactics. To survive this plot, she must charm the snake, not trample on its tail. Forcing a smile, she tries flattery, comparing his dashing looks to the legendary actor Leonardo DiCaprio. But her words hit a wall of ice. He completely ignores her. The cold shoulder ignites a spark of rage within her. How dare he be so arrogant when she is lowering herself to be kind? Professor Cohen drops a bombshell on the class. The partner system is absolute this year, and every project will be a mandatory joint effort. The decree is final. Desk mates are now partners for life, or at least for the semester. Forced cooperation is the order of the day. Sebastian mutters under his breath, predicting that this year is destined to be a disaster. Erica blinks in shock as his hand shoots up. Without hesitation, he petitions Professor Cohen for a transfer, desperate to escape her orbit. He claims his very life is in danger whenever she is near. Erica snaps, asking if his drama has no limits. Did she actually try to murder him? Or is he delusional? He insists he stood at death's door, losing her patience. Erica hisses at him to shut his mouth before he embarrasses them further. The classroom erupts in whispers, watching the sparks fly between Tiffany and Sebastian. One student smirks, calling it a classic lover's quarrel that will surely end in romance. Tiffany accuses him of starting the fire. Sebastian retorts that she struck the first blow. Chaos reigns. Professor Cohen's patience snaps like a twig. He banishes both troublemakers to the principal's office to reflect on their sins over tea. The principal sighs, lost in nostalgia. He muses on how swiftly time flows. Remembering when Sebastian and Tiffany were just children, they were inseparable back in the 6th grade. He wonders aloud if it is the weaving of destiny that has brought the three of them together in this office once more. Yet, seeing them bicker like immature brats brings a heavy sadness to his heart. Sebastian politely but firmly cuts in. He corrects the narrative, insisting their past was not friendship, but a war between cats and dogs. The principal shakes his head with a knowing smile. He claims to see right through the masks these young people wear. Their claws are out only to protect their hearts, he explains, convinced they are desperately hiding their true feelings for one another. Erica and Sebastian exchange a look of pure bewilderment. The old man has clearly lost the plot. He has no clue about the blood feud between them. But the principal persists, deciding that what they truly need is time to break down those walls. Sebastian attempts to protest, insisting it is a colossal misunderstanding. The gavel falls, a 3-day suspension, a forced vacation to bond. Erica is crushed, her perfect record stained by her first ever suspension. A dark cloud hangs over her. She begins to spiral, fearing she's becoming a magnet for disaster in this world. The scene shifts to a solitary confinement room. A staff member slams 2 heavy folders onto the desk. Their penance must be completed before sunset. The task is humiliatingly simple. They must write the sentence, "We will no longer fight with each other," 100 times. With a warning to stay focused, the supervisor exits, promising to return and judge their progress. Slacking off is not an option. Faced with the mountain of paperwork, Sebastian lets out a heavy sigh. Erica glances at him, uncertainty swirling in her eyes. The silence is suffocating. Finally, Erica gathers her courage. She has a question that has been burning a hole in her mind. She brings up the missing ring lost at the hotel during their stay. It isn't just jewelry, it is a precious heirloom passed down from her great-grandmother. Her voice trembles slightly as she asks if he saw it. Sebastian turns his face away, refusing to meet her gaze, while Erica waits with bated breath. He keeps his head turned, his body language shouting avoidance. "I didn't see it," he claims. The denial leaves Erica stunned into silence. He offers a flimsy excuse, claiming they were both exhausted from the party the night before. His memory of that morning, he insists, is a complete blur. Indignation flares within her. She knows he is lying. She challenges him, certain he remembers every detail. He had no trouble playing the gallant seducer with those piercing eyes back then, but now he feigns amnesia. What look he plays innocent. But as the conversation drifts back to that fateful night at the party, and the hotel that followed, Sebastian's demeanor turns cold. He warns her that it is best for both of them to pretend that night never existed. Fear creeps into his voice. If word got out, the scandal would be catastrophic. He shudders to think what society would do with that juicy information. Erica stares at him as if he has lost his sanity. Why on earth would she broadcast their secret? This man is driving her to the brink of madness. She scolds herself for ever falling for his handsome face and those enchanting eyes. Suddenly, it all makes sense. She now understands exactly why the original Tiffany took a baseball bat to him. In this teenage drama, she fully supports her past self's violent decision. Erica slams her hand onto the desk in sheer frustration, her mind spinning with anxiety. She is completely consumed by one thought: how in the world will she find the ring? Watching her squirm, a wicked grin spreads across Sebastian's face as he considers provoking her even more. To his surprise, he finds himself entertained by her frantic reactions. Just then, the school bell rings, signaling the end of their privacy. Erica jumps to her feet, demanding Sebastian hurry up so she can arrange lunch with Jude. However, Sebastian remains seated, moving with an infuriatingly relaxed pace. As they finally leave the room, he turns with a smirk and tells her she needs to learn the virtue of patience. Casually calling her stick girl once again, she snaps at him immediately, telling him to drop the ridiculous nickname. finding his behavior utterly immature. Suddenly, Sebastian's expression shifts to shock as he stares down the hall. Noticing his sudden freeze, Erica asks him what is wrong. In the distance, a group of girls walks by, but one stands out, a stunning beauty with flowing platinum hair, piercing green eyes, and flawless skin. Glancing between him and the girl, Erica asks who the blonde beauty is, teasingly accusing him of falling in love at first sight yet again. Sebastian does not answer immediately. He just stares into the void, lost in a sudden wave of contemplation. Finally, he replies with a heavy tone that girl is his ex-girlfriend. Intrigued and secretly amused by this twist, Erica leans in and asks if they ended things on bad terms. Glaring at her with absolute disgust, Sebastian scoffs, asking why he would ever confide in Erica. Suddenly, movement catches her eye to the right. Down the hallway, a platinum-haired girl approaches, wearing an expression cold enough to freeze water. Erica whispers that the girl seems to want his attention, leaving Sebastian visibly shaken by the news. As the silver-haired beauty draws near, a chill runs down Erica's spine. She realizes with horror that the girl's deadly gaze is locked not on him, but on her. Instinct kicks in. Sebastian seizes Erica's wrist and drags her away, fleeing the scene while the mysterious girl watches them vanish into the distance. Finally stopping, Erica catches her breath. She clutches her trembling hand, mind racing as she wonders what on earth just happened. Now safe in the courtyard, she demands an explanation. Sebastian shrugs it off, admitting he simply didn't want to deal with his ex-girlfriend. Erica stares in disbelief. All that panic and running, just because he was too cowardly to face his past. The school bell rings, saving him from answering. Breaking into a nervous sweat, he deflects, claiming he is starving and craving Mexican food for lunch. Erica closes her eyes in resignation. Once again, Sebastian proves he only ever cares about his own whims. The couple stands under the scorching sun, near a heavy fruit tree, but peace is impossible as they spot Sebastian's crew approaching nearby. Meanwhile, unaware of the rising tension, Sebastian turned to the blonde-haired Michael, breaking the silence with a casual question about lunch. Michael agrees with a nod, handing the lunchbox over to Sebastian, but as his gaze shifts right, he spots Erica. His expression darkens instantly, radiating cold hostility. He dismisses her entirely, turning back to his crew. Erica narrows her eyes, sensing the thick tension. What on earth is wrong with Michael? She wonders aloud. She takes a second look and realizes something. Sebastian and his entourage are impossibly handsome, shining like the legendary F4. It is a blinding display of visual perfection, truly a paradise for the eyes. But that trance is shattered. Jude bursts onto the scene, shouting her name before tackling her in an enthusiastic hug. He beams, claiming he's been waiting for ages. Erica laughs it off, insisting they need to hurry if they want to grab a bite before class. In the background, Michael chats with Sebastian, but his jaw drops at the news. Both Sebastian and Erica were suspended. The revelation catches him completely off guard. Michael bursts into laughter, teasing that those two are always at each other's throats like oil and water. But Erica's ears perk up, she catches every word of their banter. Sebastian hisses at him to shut up, but the blonde instigator ignores the warning. He drops a bomb, asking, "So, did you return the ring to the girl yet?" Erica freezes solid. Cold sweat trickles down her neck as panic sets in. Sebastian warns Michael to drop the subject immediately, sensing the danger. Too late. A demonic aura flares up behind the boy. Erica looms over him, eyes blazing with fury as she growls, "What did you just say?" Confusion mixes with her rage. Sebastian had sworn he knew nothing about that ring, but as she confronts them, the truth is laid bare, confirming her worst suspicions. He sneers, asking why she thinks the world revolves around her, calling her completely full of herself. But she bites back instantly, telling him to look in the mirror and stop lying so shamelessly. Then, Erica drops the ultimate bombshell. She looks him in the eye and asks if he really forgot that the two of them slept together. She screams it loud enough for the heavens to hear. A wave of shock ripples through the crowd. He tells her to go to hell, but pure panic seizes Sebastian as he realizes everyone has heard the secret. One girl questions her own ears, trying to process the scandal. Another stands frozen, unable to believe the drama unfolding right in front of her eyes. The gossip spreads like wildfire. Phones flash as girls start texting and taking pictures, desperate to know when it happened. The whispers of the crowd turn into a frenzy of speculation. The school hallways were buzzing with disbelief. One student exclaimed how insane it was for such a scandalous bomb to drop right as the semester was ending. Envy mixed with the gossip. While one girl lamented that she wanted a night with Sebastian, another sneered that the so-called stick girl had already slept with him. However, one specific remark cut through the noise and truly agitated Sebastian. It was the foolish notion that he and Blair, the blonde girl, were destined to remain a couple for eternity. Erica scanned the chaos around her, and a cold sweat began to form. She realized the rumor she had let slip was spreading like wildfire, carrying far more weight than she ever imagined. But she quickly steeled her heart against the guilt. Deep down, she convinced herself that the fallout simply did not matter to her. After all, this isn't her true reality. Sunlight floods the school courtyard, painting a deceptive picture of peace. The trees sway with life, and the academy buildings gleam under the morning sun. Stepping inside, Sebastian slumps against a locker, his heart still racing from the brush with death. He decides the suspension room is his only sanctuary right now. It should be empty, save for him and that violent stick girl. But suddenly, a shadow looms before him. It's Stanley. He glares with murderous intent. "Did you really sleep with Tiff?" he demands. Sebastian plays dumb. Who? Tiffy, Tiffany. Stanley spits out the names like venom. He claims she's his ex-girlfriend. A memory flashes the night Sebastian defended Tiffany from a crazed stalker, who turns out to be Stanley. So, the pieces fit. Tiffany is his obsession. Now Sebastian understands the rage burning behind Stanley's eyes during the birthday party. A devilish smirk touches Sebastian's lips. He holds the winning card. Yeah, he lies smoothly. I slept with her that night. Despicable. Stanley lunges, but Sebastian catches his fist in midair effortlessly. What's it to you? You two are history, he scoffs. His other hand rises, but not to strike to silence him. Bam! He slams Stanley against the wall. Listen closely, Sebastian hisses. Never touch me again. He turns his back on the loser. And stay away from Tiffany. She isn't a trophy for you to claim. Whistling a cheerful tune, he strolls away. Now he has the perfect ammunition to tease the stick girl. Left behind, Stanley trembles with humiliation. You dare insult me. Back in the suspension room, Sebastian drops the bomb. So, Erica, heard you used to date Stanley Harrison. You have terrible taste in men. He smirks. Erica freezes. Drop it. Why do you even care? Is he looking for a fight? Why bring up her past out of nowhere? Glancing out the window, Erica spots a familiar silhouette below. It's him, Stanley Harrison. Painful memories surface. He's the scumbag who cheated with her best friend. She fled to Washington, D.C. just to escape his toxic shadow. But how is this happening? Why has fate gathered everyone here at Georgetown Trinity High? Whatever. She scoffs. I'll return to the real world soon anyway. But Sebastian interrupts her musing. You blabbed our secret to everyone. She snaps, eyes blazing. I would have kept quiet if you hadn't pretended to forget the ring. She grabs him by the collar. Give it back now. Sweat beads on his forehead. I'll think about it, he stammers. If you do my homework for a week. Erica stares in disbelief. While he chokes on his own words, she reaches into her bag. Ever heard of the Rod of Love? She asks sweetly. What? Sebastian blinks. That's the stupidest thing I've ever heard. It's a special tool, she explains, her aura darkening. Used in the East to discipline naughty brats. She reveals the weapon, return the ring, or taste the Rod of Love. Cut to Sebastian lying broken on his bed. Bandages cover his face. He howls in agony as a muscle spasms. His head feels like it's about to detonate. Michael, the blonde, sighs. Lost to the stick girl again. His brunette friend chimes in. What was the war about this time? The redhead inspects him. A concussion, isn't that extreme for a lover's quarrel? Sebastian turns pale, terror in his eyes. Do you guys know? The Rod of Love. The trauma floods back. He sees Tiffany wielding that stick like a legendary swordsman. It was more lethal than a baseball bat. It started with a lecture. He shudders. She listed every way she could destroy me. Palms or thighs, she made me choose. She even offered the chalkboard position. He shivers. but said that it would be too humiliating for my dignity. Then she asked if I was into that sort of thing. I told her I wasn't ready. As he recounts the horror, pain shoots through him. He screams. The memory ends in darkness. His friend shakes his head. You brought this on yourself. Just give the ring back, man. You deserve the beating. But Sebastian grits his teeth. Never. The next morning, the school hallway falls silent. Gasps echo as they see Sebastian's handsome face. Completely wrecked. Another bystander gasps, asking if the poor guy just got flattened by a truck. As Erica walked across the campus, whispers followed her like shadows. The boys watched her every move, speculating that she was the monster responsible for Sebastian's brutal injuries. But another voice cut through the noise with a scandalous counter-theory. Perhaps it wasn't violence, but a passionate night of forbidden romance. Erica's patience snapped. Why were these insects so obsessed with her private life? Perhaps every single one of them needed a taste of the rod of love to teach them a lesson. As if the school drama wasn't enough, she shuddered, recalling the chaos of returning home to the twins earlier that day. Her sisters had bombarded her with 1,000 questions about her conquest. Then Jude had chimed in, telling her to endure the spotlight because that is the burden of fame. Ironically, as she arrived at the suspension room, she realized this punishment felt like a sanctuary compared to the madness outside. But her peace shattered instantly. There sat Sebastian, his bruised face locking eyes with hers. Erica froze in place. Up close, the damage was undeniable. He looked like he had been through a war zone. An embarrassment flushed her cheeks. Sebastian waved off the rumors with a flimsy lie about falling down the stairs, but his sudden, charming friendliness set off alarm bells in Erica's mind. She feigned indifference, agreeing with his nonsense, but demanded only one thing: her ring. Sebastian's refusal was cold and absolute. He accused her of breaking their pact first, claiming she had spread lies to the entire school about them sleeping together. He scoffed at the cheap trinket's value, but vowed that if she wanted it back, she would have to fight tooth and nail for it. Erica stood paralyzed, unable to process the audacity of his words. Snapping, she lunged at him, demanding the ring's location, but he recoiled, barking at her to keep her hands off him. She screamed that she only wanted what was hers. Suddenly, a sharp voice sliced through the tension. Blair, Sebastian's ex-girlfriend, stood at the door, eyes narrowed like a hawk. She demanded an explanation, her gaze shifting between them. To her, the rumors were no longer just whispers, they were cold, hard facts. She could not believe Sebastian Phillips would stoop to dating a low-tier nobody like Tiffany Raymonds, the so-called stick girl. Erica scoffed internally. Who was this girl to talk? Blair looked like a walking, cream-filled American Twinkie. Blair lamented Sebastian's ruined handsome face with fake pity. Erica snapped back, asking what business she had interfering in their affairs. Erica drew a line in the sand. This room was for her and Sebastian only. She suggested Blair keep walking down her own path and get lost. Blair trembled with rage. Had this nobody just dared to call him Seb? The platinum-haired girl vowed to crush that familiarity right out of Erica's mouth, promising she would never use that nickname again. She screamed that Erica had no authority here. She had flown all the way from Los Angeles to Washington, D.C. solely to rescue Sebastian from this mess. When Sebastian questioned her authority, Blair simply laughed. She warned Erica to prepare herself. The battle for him had officially begun. Dropping that bombshell, the Platinum Queen spun around and vanished, slamming the door behind her. Silence returned. Sebastian exhaled in relief, while Erica seethed with humiliation at the insults she had just endured. Clutching his aching head, Sebastian groaned. Dealing with Blair was a torture he could not stand. Seizing the moment, Erica probed the wound. Why did they break up, and why did she still cling to that intimate nickname, Seb? The words left her mouth before she could stop them, though she instantly regretted it. Sunlight filtered through the dust, highlighting the heavy, awkward tension between them. Sebastian offered to trade his tragic backstory for hers. He would speak if she revealed how she broke up with Stanley. She muttered in French, dreading the idea of reopening old wounds. Did she really have to do this? He insisted she speak, though internally he was baffled. Why was he so desperate to know the history of a girl he supposedly disliked? She revealed the ugly truth. Stanley had cheated on her with her best friend. Of course, she was reciting Tiffany Raymonds' tragedy, not her own. Sebastian stared in disbelief before dropping his own bomb. Blair had betrayed him too with his own older brother. Erica's jaw practically hit the floor. The revelation was too heavy to process. She thought Blair was crazy, but this was evil. How could a girlfriend and a brother commit such a soul-crushing betrayal? She gasped, admitting she thought these twisted plotlines only existed in American teen dramas. Was this normal here? Were all American teenagers living in such a chaotic soap opera? Seeing her flustered state, Sebastian's confusion faded. A smirk touched his lips. Her innocent reaction was surprisingly refreshing. Suddenly, he bolted up from his chair, shaking off the heavy atmosphere. Erica asked where he was going. He claimed the room was suffocating him. He needed the open road and fresh air. He turned to her with a mischievous glint, inviting her to escape the school and go for a drive with him. The idea of skipping school without permission sent a jolt of adrenaline through her veins. Thrilled by the rebellion, she urged him to hurry. The car chirped as Sebastian unlocked the doors. Erica froze, eyes wide as saucers. The car was magnificent. Sebastian just laughed at her shock and told her to get in. The ride was just beginning. The girl stares at the beast of a machine in total awe, asking if this is truly the 2022 Lamborghini Urus model. Reminding him that a girl like Erica requires high maintenance, he opens the passenger door with a flourish. She beams, relieved to see the boy acting like a true gentleman. Then, gripping the steering wheel with confidence, Sebastian smirks and says he knows the perfect spot. They tear through the streets of Washington, D.C., the red supercar roaring like a beast. Erica sits frozen in the passenger seat, completely overwhelmed by the situation. The speed is intoxicating. She notices the rich scent of leather and asks if Sebastian bought this ride recently. He nods casually, saying he picked it up on his birthday. Apparently, it is a family tradition to acquire the most expensive car possible the moment one comes of age. Erica cannot wrap her mind around it. Back in her original world, she didn't even have a driver's license, let alone a supercar. In that life, she was just a failing student, repeating attempts to pass her university entrance exams. She watches Sebastian driving in his school uniform and realizes how utterly impossible this level of freedom would be back in South Korea. Erica prays to every god she knows that Sebastian drives safely. He glances over, asking why she is staring. Has she been mesmerized by his greatness once again? Scoffing at his arrogance, she snaps out of it and starts yelling, demanding that Sebastian give her ring back immediately. Careful, the boy warns with a grin. I am driving. Moments later, Sebastian and Erica step into the atmosphere of a chic cafe. Panic strikes. Looking to the right, Erica spots him. Stanley is sitting right there on the terrace. My ex is here, she hisses, diving behind Sebastian's broad back. Erica trembles, terrified of the drama that will explode if she faces Stanley again. Do exactly as I say, he commands in a low voice, unaware of the trap. Stanley walks into the establishment. Erica's ex, or rather, the man who betrayed Tiffany, spots the girl in the cafe and freezes, shocked by the scene unfolding before him. Sebastian suddenly grabs Erica by the waist. He pulls her face inches from his, whispering that she looks devastatingly beautiful today. Stanley watches the couple like a hawk. Sebastian tenderly brushes her cheek, claiming she has an eyelash there, but even that flaw looks adorable on her. Be careful, my love, Sebastian coos loudly. I would die if you got hurt. The girl is already cringing internally at the boy's over-the-top acting. He insists they should eat, asking what her heart desires, and declares he will pay for absolutely anything she wants. Erica finds the whole situation bizarre, but she sticks to the script and stammers that she wants a latte. For you, anything. Sebastian vows, indignant. Stanley clenches his fists, unable to fathom how Sebastian can spill such cheesy lines without hesitation. Tiffany, Stanley barks, losing his cool. He demands to know if Erica is seriously dating Sebastian, a guy Stanley considers a total idiot. Her eyes flash with cold fury as she asks what business it is of his, since he was the scumbag who cheated first. Stanley sneers, warning that one day Sebastian will stab her in the back. She snaps back instantly, asking if he means the same way Stanley did when he cheated with her best friend. The boy pales, stammering that everything was just a gigantic misunderstanding. He claims she is the only woman he has ever truly loved. It is too late, she declares coldly. Sebastian is a far better man than you will ever be. His pride wounded. Stanley glares and asks if that is how she wants to play this game. Tiffany's ex storms out of the establishment. Throwing one last threat over his shoulder, he will not just stand by and watch her be with Sebastian. When Sebastian returns with the lattes, he calmly asks Tiffany if the pest is finally cleared out. The girl sighs, replying that Stanley left surprisingly easily. Sebastian gloats, suggesting Stanley fled to avoid a beating. Erica rolls her eyes, thinking she really should have let the two of them brawl it out. Sebastian then tries to feed her a candy, calling her sweetheart. A chill of disgust runs down Erica's spine, and she begs him to stop. The latte cup settles on the stone table. Sebastian muses about how well they pretended to be a loving couple in front of her ex. Hearing this, she grips the cup until her knuckles turn white, muttering that his acting skills were genuinely frightening. She begs him to drop the subject. He shrugs, claiming he only did it to save her from a tight spot. The boy points out that the performance worked, but it is obvious that the ex-boyfriend still loves her. Erica tells Sebastian to stop being ridiculous. Stanley is a cheater. He insists she saw the look on Stanley's face. It was clear the guy was boiling with jealousy seeing her with another man, especially Sebastian. Finally, she admits defeat, wondering if it is true. Does Stanley actually want her back? Erica realizes the situation mirrors her own, noting that Blair seems to feel the same obsessive way about Sebastian. She sighs, confused why the world is against them. Is it really such a crime for her to be dating Sebastian? Suddenly, Sebastian's eyes light up. He slams his hand on the table, declaring that he has found the ultimate answer. We should be a couple. Erica is so startled by his proclamation that she spits her latte across the table. Sebastian leans in with a wicked grin, clarifying that they are destined to pretend to be a couple. He recalled a crucial detail: Blair had remained blissfully ignorant of the swarm of girls constantly chasing after Sebastian. The fact that Blair is targeting Erica with such venom proves one thing: the platinum-haired queen bee is rattled. She has never stooped to threats like this before. Sebastian plays the fool, claiming he doesn't understand why his ex-girlfriend treats Erica as a rival. Erica stares at him blankly, asking how he can be so oblivious. She shakes her head, convinced that this reckless plan is destined to fail. But Sebastian's mind is made up. To truly provoke Blair, his fake girlfriend must be the girl with the backbone of steel. No other girl could ignite Blair's jealousy quite like her. He realizes that charm won't work on Erica, so he shifts tactics. He needs to offer a deal she cannot refuse. The terms are simple, yet dangerous if she agrees to the contract relationship and helps crush Blair and Stanley. The precious ring will be returned to her finger. Erica freezes, completely caught off guard. This is the first time Sebastian has leveraged the ring, leaving her scrambling for a response. Her mind floods with the memories of her real life, her friends, her mother, and the normalcy she aches to return to. Realizing this might be her only ticket home, she agrees. A triumphant grin spreads across Sebastian's face. "Welcome to the Alliance," he smirks, congratulating his new fake girlfriend. The next morning at school, the atmosphere shifts as every student stares in disbelief. One girl rubs her eyes, thinking she's hallucinating. But it's real. A sleek red sports car pulls up, marking day one of Erica and Sebastian's scandalous debut at Georgetown Trinity High. The school day begins, but the lessons are drowned out by a symphony of notification sounds. Ping, ping, ping. A student gasps, opening a photo that is already viral, undeniable proof of Erica and Sebastian holding hands. As the power couple strides through the entrance, the whispers erupt. Wait, isn't he dating the girl who snapped his arm? The rumor mill spins out of control. Was their night together a mistake? Is she blackmailing him? The speculation is vicious. Some claim Blair was his soulmate. But the nastiest rumors cut deep whispers that Erica or Tiffany trapped him with a pregnancy. Erica clenches her jaw, her irritation rising with every toxic comment she overhears. Sensing the tension, Sebastian pulls her flush against his side, wrapping a protective arm around her. A bystander bites her lip, green with envy, wishing she was the one in his embrace. Suddenly, the final boss appears, Blair and her clique. Sebastian leans in, his voice a silky whisper, eyes forward, smile. He reminds her that this alliance is war, not a game. She needs to master her poker face immediately. Erica glances up at him, searching his eyes. Is he serious about this? Or is he enjoying the chaos too much? She drives her fingers into his back in a sharp pinch. "I'm only doing this for the ring," she hisses, reminding him of their transaction. Blair watches the display with cold, silent fury. Later, in the privacy of the suspension room, Sebastian praises Erica for keeping her cool under fire. "Did you see her face?" he asks, exhilarated. She was analyzing every single step we took. He celebrates their victory, but Erica isn't so sure. She questions if the plan is actually working or just making things worse. Well, school feels less like a place of learning and more like a battlefield. She recalls a confrontation with Stanley, who accused her of fueling the drama because everyone believed the dating rumors. A cold fear grips her, the thought of being ambushed in a dark alley by jealous fanatics. But Sebastian cuts through her anxiety. Relax, he assures her with deadly confidence. As my girlfriend, you are untouchable. No one will dare lay a finger on you. Erica's mind drifts away from his promises, pulled back into the memory of her conversation with her cheating ex, Stanley. She remembers his voice, dripping with false innocence, asking if she truly didn't understand the situation. Her rage had flared in that moment. We were done the second I found out about your betrayal, she had snapped. But Stanley had played the victim card instantly. It was all a misunderstanding, he pleaded. He insisted that ever since she misunderstood the situation, they hadn't spoken properly. He swore he was innocent. Erica felt a moment of hesitation. Could he be telling the truth? After all, these were Tiffany Raymond's memories, not hers. Was she judging him based on a life she didn't live? Sensing her resolve wavering, Stanley stepped into her personal space, promising to explain everything. He invoked their past happiness, his fingers grazing her cheek. We were good together, he whispered. We can go back to how it was. Don't you want that too? He asked, his voice low and manipulative. Instinct took over. Erica shoved him back, brandishing the rod of love like a divine weapon. How dare you touch a lady, she shouted as Stanley hit the dirt, bewildered by the strange object. Scrambling to his feet to retreat, Stanley looked at her with wide eyes. You aren't the girl I used to know. Damn right I'm not, she confirmed, kicking him out of the room without a second thought. Snapping back to the present in the suspension room, Erica studies Sebastian. Is everything he says just a projection of his obsession with Blair? The intensity in his voice when he speaks of his ex? It's undeniable. There is a strong chance he is still deeply in love with Blair. A bitter realization settles in her chest. She is not the main character here. In this twisted romance theater of Sebastian and Blair, she is just an extra. Sebastian notices her silence, watching her head hang low with a heavy gaze. But he misreads the moment entirely, thinking she is drowning in sorrow over the betrayal of her past love. Closing the distance, he draped an arm casually around Erica's shoulders, his voice softening with understanding. He announced he was stepping out to hunt down some food for them. Time ticked by, and Erica's patience began to fray. Where had he gone? Was he cooking a 5-course meal from scratch? The click of the door latch sparked a bright smile on her face, expecting Sebastian and dinner. However, the figure standing in the doorway wasn't him, it was her best friend, Jude. His expression was unreadable. He had heard the rumors about her and Sebastian. Why had she kept him in the dark? Did he really have to find out from idle gossip that his best friend was dating his own cousin? Erica stood there, completely stunned by Jude's intensity, pleading with him to lower his voice. Guilt washed over her as she apologized, confessing that her mind had been a chaotic storm lately. His demeanor shifted instantly. He assured her it was fine, reminding her that no matter what, he would always be in her corner. He leaned in close, aiming for her cheek, but she instinctively pulled back. Before the moment could linger, the heavy tread of footsteps echoed from the entrance. A cold voice sliced through the air, ordering Jude to restrain himself. Sebastian stood there, slow, his eyes narrowing as he asked if Jude had lost his mind trying to kiss Erica. Jude glanced back, feigning surprise. Then, a sharp, mischievous smirk played on his lips as he declared that Erica belonged to him. Clearly enjoying the tension, Jude's grin widened as he teased, asking if Sebastian was actually feeling jealous. Sebastian scoffed, irritation flickering in his eyes. He claimed he was merely playing his part in the deal. Jude surveyed them both, noting that despite their mutual hatred, they made a breathtaking pair. Erica's face twisted into a grimace of pure revulsion at the mere thought. Turning his attention to Erica, Sebastian dropped the bombshell they had a yacht party to attend today, because, naturally, that was just how their dramatic lives worked. She demanded to know why. He explained that a simple school performance wouldn't be enough to deceive someone as sharp as Blair. They needed to sell the lie completely. Blair had to believe, without a shadow of a doubt, that they were deeply, madly in love. Reluctantly, Erica nodded, though she hesitated before asking if a formal dress code was truly necessary. The moment she suggested slipping into her trusty jeans, both Sebastian and Jude stared at her as if she had grown a second head. Jude looked baffled, reminding her of the mountain of clothes he had gifted her. Sebastian stepped in, signaling for Jude to settle down. Sebastian lectured that party attire wasn't about comfort, it was a statement. It was about proving to the world that they were adults with status. Sparks of anger ignited in Erica's eyes. How dared he look down on her with that superior attitude? Jude intervened, promising to handle her transformation personally. Later that day, the trio gathered at Erica's home for the main event. Inside the bedroom, the sounds of chaotic rummaging echoed from the closet as clothes and shoes flew about. Stepping out in yet another outfit, Erica wondered if this torture would ever end. Jude had the magic touch, sure, but his perfectionism was exhausting. From the sidelines, Sebastian played the critic, dismissing options as too short or too garish for her aesthetic. Stepping out one final time, she declared with finality that this was the absolute last dress. The boys fell silent, stunned. She announced she had nothing left to try. The black dress was the winner. She looked breathtaking. Jude gasped, calling her a goddess, while Sebastian simply nodded, admitting the black dress was acceptable. But amidst the praise, Erica's eyes narrowed. Something was wrong. Her gaze drifted past them to see both boys sitting comfortably on her bed. Jude flushed with embarrassment, while Sebastian nonchalantly claimed he was just resting his weary bones. Her irritation spiked. She pointed furiously at their feet. How could they dare lie on her bed with their dirty shoes still on? She scolded them, asking if they were so spoiled by maids that they had forgotten basic manners. Baffled by her outrage, the boys assumed she was just stressed. Still, they wisely moved their feet to the floor to appease her. Night fell, and the yacht glowed like a jewel against the dark water, music pulsing under the starry sky. From the dock, Erica gazed up at the imposing vessel. Walking beside her, Sebastian assured her she should be excited. Oakley's parties were legendary for a reason. Erica raised a brow, asking exactly how many legendary parties this guy had thrown. Was Oakley not just another high school student like them? Sebastian clarified that the host had graduated years ago, and the yacht was actually his father's toy. He warned her to brace herself. There would likely be college students mixing with the crowd tonight. Stepping onto the deck, the atmosphere shifted. She realized instantly that the mature vibe of the event was entirely intentional. Erica whispered, wondering if she really fit in among all these beautiful people. Would anyone even notice her? Sebastian let out a soft sigh, struggling to find the right words. He gazed at her, struck by a sudden realization. She wasn't just dressed up. Erica possessed a natural, radiant beauty that outshone the artificial lights. Quickly turning away to hide his flush, he rationalized it. Of course she looked good. He and Jude had styled her. After all, under the canvas of a magnificent starry sky, the colossal yacht glows like a jewel upon the dark waters, alive with the hum of high society. The night began with the melodic chime of crystal glasses clashing in a toast. Whispers slithered through the crowd like snakes. Was that Duke Sebastian? And who was the mystery beauty on his arm? Erica scanned the viper's nest warily. Please tell me the villainous duo isn't here, she whispered to him. Sebastian smirked. In this circle, anything is possible. The act began. Sebastian leaned in, his fingers tenderly tracing the curve of her jawline. She stiffened, pressing her palms against his solid chest. You conveniently forgot to mention my enemies might be present. He sighed, the romantic mask slipping for a second. Did you forget our contract? We are playing the part of lovers. Focus. I just wanted one night without a war breaking out, she hissed back. Her mind raced to memories of Stanley. That man was petty enough to throw her off the deck just for a laugh. Sebastian chuckled darkly. Since when do you consider the consequences of your chaos? Listen, he commanded. Blair is an heiress to an empire. Stanley is political royalty. They own this world. Seeing them here is inevitable. But before he could finish, a voice cut through the noise. Sebastian. A young noble with golden hair strode toward them, radiating effortless charisma. Baxter, Sebastian greeted, surprised. The name struck Erica like a bell. Baxter, as in Blair's family. I thought the Oxford genius was still buried in his books, the newcomer teased. The young man shrugged elegantly. Father demanded my return. The family business calls. Erica shrank back, analyzing this new player from the shadows. He had the aura of a king. He was well connected, and arguably even more dashing than Sebastian. His gaze locked onto her. And who is this muse? Sebastian didn't blink. Meet Tiffany Raymonds, my girlfriend. She offered a trembling hand. Kane Baxter, Sebastian announced, Blair's older brother. Erica realized that good looks were genetic in that poisonous bloodline. Kane smiled. Blair speaks of you often. I bet she does, Erica thought grimly. And 99% of it is pure slander. It takes skill to rattle my sister, Kane mused, but you managed to get under her skin. Was that sarcasm? She couldn't tell. His handsome face was too distracting. She laughed nervously. I have a talent for annoyance. Sebastian smirked. Oh, she's a grandmaster at it. Thwack. She drove her elbow into his ribs to silence him before he ruined the cover. A sweet, innocent smile plastered on her face. I haven't the faintest idea what he means. Kane laughed heartily. A match made in heaven. Blair will be green with envy when she sees you. Sebastian paused, his eyes narrowing. Is your sister not gracing us with her presence? Why is everyone playing Cupid tonight? Erica wondered. She skipped the event, Kane revealed. The tension vanished instantly. Sebastian relaxed, and Erica felt a wave of relief. She could finally breathe. The gala roared on, but Erica's stomach churned violently. The scene shifted to the quiet corridors of the vessel. Why hide your illness? Sebastian scolded. I didn't know I had seasickness, she groaned. How could I know? She bit her lip. This was Tiffany Raymond's body, not her own. She didn't know this vessel's physical weaknesses. Shut up, she gagged, covering her mouth, or you are going to wear my dinner. Sebastian didn't hesitate. He swept her off her feet in a dramatic bridal carry. Hold on tight. He moved with the grace of a panther, cutting through the yacht's labyrinth to find privacy. They burst into a private cabin. Is this safe? She wheezed, the room spinning around her. But safety was a lie. A figure emerged from the shadows. She pushed weakly against his chest. Stanley, stay away. Still weak to the waves, Stanley sneered, looming over her. You always were delicate on boats. Remember the trip with Father? Her ex-fiancé stepped closer, his eyes manic. We can fix this, Tiffany. We can go back to how it was. He cornered her against the wall. I love you. I never stopped loving you. Her stomach rebelled. Splosh. She emptied the contents of her stomach right onto his expensive shirt. Are you insane? He shrieked. I warned you. She coughed, wiping her mouth. You literally just said you loved me, vomit and all. As he stared at the mess in horror, she saw her chance. This was her window. Do you know how much this silk costs? Stanley wailed, but Erica was already gone, sprinting for her life. The party rages on beneath the heavens, a symphony of crystal glasses and whispered secrets. Sebastian is enjoying the atmosphere when he spots her approaching, his eyes softening as he asks if she has recovered from the earlier chaos. Following the party, the two continue their charade, maintaining the illusion of a couple for at least another week, a simple task given Sebastian's immense popularity. Their brilliant acting ensures the rumors of their romance spread like wildfire, reaching every corner of the elite social circle. But finally, the weekend arrives, bringing sweet relief as Erica collapses onto her bed, laptop glowing and a mountain of French fries awaiting her attention. No matter which dimension or world she inhabits, Saturday remains the undisputed king of days. She tosses a fry into her mouth, but the grease sits heavy on her tongue. Her Korean soul screams for the sharp, fiery kick of kimchi or spicy soybean paste soup. Lost in nostalgia, she longs for the flavors of home, but suddenly, a disruption shatters her perfect Saturday peace. Sebastian's name flashes on her phone, and the moment she answers, he calls her Stick Girl, declaring a state of emergency. She protests, clinging to her rest time, but he insists she join him for a family dinner, prompting her to ask if this is the official meeting the parents milestone. Sebastian quickly dismisses the gravity of the situation, claiming it is merely a simple dinner. He reveals that his family is dangerously impatient, noting that his mother gifted the family heirloom ring to Blair only 3 days after they began dating. The pressure is mounting, with his family pushing him to reconcile with his ex-girlfriend, so he pleads for her assistance before abruptly ending the call. Annoyed by his audacity, she yells at the disconnected line, then stomps out of her room and marches toward the twins' sanctuary. Barging in, she immediately demands their expertise and assistance. One twin asks what disaster has occurred, while the other bluntly notes that Erica looks like absolute trash from exhaustion. Erica dryly retorts that this is her default setting. She explains the sudden summons to dine with Sebastian's family, lamenting her lack of appropriate attire and the crushing time constraint. But the true nightmare lies in the mission she must convince his discerning parents that their love is genuine, a task that seems impossible. One of the twins stares blankly, unable to process the panic, prompting Erica to beg if there is any solution to this crisis. Her eyes lock onto the twins' wardrobe, and she declares with determination that one of their dresses will be her armor for the evening. As the sisters work their magic, Erica spills the tea, recounting the entire saga of her fake relationship with Sebastian and how this tangled web began. One twin gasps in pure shock, the revelation that Blair cheated on Sebastian hitting her like a physical blow. Stunned into silence, her hand freezes in midair, the makeup brush forgotten. Marissa and Vanessa immediately dive into their phones, scouring social media as they demand to know how Blair and Sebastian's own brother could commit such a betrayal. One admits that Sebastian's brother is undeniably handsome, but quickly adds that his beauty does not excuse their repulsive behavior. Transformed and elegant, Erica stands by the window, her heart racing as she awaits Sebastian's arrival. Outside, the prince arrives holding a single red rose, asking for Erica, while the twins gaze at him with stars in their eyes. As Erica steps out, radiating grace, her parents appear, confusion written on their faces as they demand an explanation. The twins assure their older sister they will handle the cover-up, allowing Erica to grab Sebastian's arm and drag him away from the interrogation. The fake couple arrives at the imposing building where Sebastian's wealthy family resides, the tension rising with the elevator. As they step through the grand entrance, Erica's confident stride falters, and she confesses that her nerves are suddenly getting the best of her. She admits this is not just meeting friends, but facing a boyfriend's parents, a high-stakes scenario she has never navigated before. Sebastian offers a reassuring smile, reminding her of their flawless performance over the past 2 weeks of deception. He takes her hand, his warmth grounding her, and Erica regains her composure, her high heels clicking with renewed purpose. When they enter the apartment of her supposed boyfriend, his mother is already there to greet her son. His father gestures for her to sit, while his mother offers a compliment, noting that Erica is quite beautiful. The stick girl breathes a sigh of relief, realizing the atmosphere is far warmer than the battlefield she anticipated, until Sebastian formally introduces her as Tiffany Raymonds. A deathly silence descends upon the room. Erica, trapped in the body of the infamous villainous Tiffany, freezes as cold sweat trickles down her back. The mother's expression darkens instantly as she asks if this is the same Tiffany who once attempted to murder her son. Sebastian's parents look at her with eyes full of hostility, treating her like a nemesis, and Erica feels her stomach churn with nausea and shame. The tension snaps as a relative slams her wine glass onto the table, the sharp sound echoing like a gunshot. She demands to know how two mortal enemies, Sebastian and the woman who tried to kill him, could possibly fall in love. The question hangs in the air like a guillotine, leaving the couple speechless as their worst nightmare becomes reality. Sebastian tries to defend her, claiming she has changed, but Erica raises her hand to stop him, stepping into the line of fire to declare that she will explain everything herself. She would have to summon every ounce of her knowledge. The ultimate guru of American teenage dramas, she begins to weave a tale of destiny, transporting the listeners back to her days at Georgetown Trinity High. She confesses she was once the invisible girl, a scholar who cared little for appearances. She continues her narration, explaining that her indifference made her a target, and the wolves of the school descended upon her the moment she arrived. She describes the isolation of that new school, but highlights that amidst the cruelty, one lone savior stood apart from the pack, Sebastian. She paints a vivid picture of the moment he extended his hand like a lifeline. In her story, he shines like a prince, his eyes radiant, wearing a simple sweatshirt emblazoned with USA. His voice was gentle as he asked if she was hurt. Erica describes how he peered through her thick frames, asking why she hid such captivating sapphire eyes from the world. But every fairy tale has a witch. The scene shifts to reveal Blair lurking in the shadows, hidden behind a wall. The antagonist watched Sebastian speak to Erica, overhearing him call the shy girl cute. From that distance, Blair Baxter witnessed the spark that would ignite her jealousy. And in that instant, Erica was unknowingly added to Blair's blacklist, a dangerous place to be. Even the silver-haired queen's entourage couldn't fathom how the prince had fallen for a plain, boring girl, which was the cruel label they slapped onto Erica. From that second on, Blair swore a silent oath of vengeance. She vowed that Erica, or rather, Tiffany, would pay dearly for daring to capture Sebastian's attention. The Baxter heiress even manipulated the football captain, convincing him to humiliate Tiffany with a torrent of mud. But just as disaster struck, Sebastian stepped in like a guardian angel, shielding her from the filth and preventing the worst. In the climax of her tale, he declared his resolve to stay by her side and protect her forever. She explains that after witnessing their bond, Blair's jealousy exploded, turning Tiffany's life into a living hell through relentless manipulation. And that, she claims, is the crucible in which their love was forged. At least, that is the perfect romantic script Erica recites at the dinner table. Just as Sebastian's father prepares to speak, Erica interjects seamlessly. She explains that they didn't recognize each other at first after all. Her transformation from her sloppy past was absolute. She adds with a soft smile that she is actually thankful for that delay. If they had met sooner, she argues, she might never have had the chance to realize just how magnificent Sebastian truly is. Erica turns her gaze to the boy, asking for confirmation of their history. Sebastian doesn't hesitate. He takes her hand firmly in his. He plays along perfectly, planting a tender kiss on her forehead. The relatives are thoroughly charmed, completely buying into the illusion of their heartwarming romance. Suddenly, the atmosphere shifts as the door opens. A voice declares that the story is fascinating. Sebastian's older brother makes his entrance, sneering that if he knows Sebastian, he knows his little brother never does things by halves. "Are you jealous?" Sebastian shoots back coldly. Erica is stunned by the sudden hostility, especially in front of their parents. The pieces click into place instantly. Erica realizes this man is William, the very traitor who Blair cheated on Sebastian with. William's eyes scan Erica with unsettling admiration. He asks his brother for the name of this exquisite lady. The younger brother replies with a sharp edge to his voice that he already knows her, Tiffany Raymonds. A flicker of surprise crosses William's face at the mention of the name. Reaching out to touch her hand, he feigns sudden recognition. He purrs that she has blossomed into a stunning woman, claiming to remember her from when she was just a sweet girl. Internally, she recoils. She just wants William to spare her from this greasy performance where he tries to play the gallant gentleman. But William continues, advising Sebastian to guard her well, claiming a rare beauty like hers is a once-in-a-lifetime treasure. She forces a shy thank you, but Erica realizes instantly this man is fully aware of his own charm and uses it like a weapon. Extricating her hand from William's grip, she stands up gracefully. She excuses herself, citing a need to use the restroom to escape the tension. As she retreats, Sebastian is struck by her composure. He is impressed that she didn't melt under William's advances like others. But her indifference only fans the flames of William's desire. The hunter is intrigued by prey that doesn't fall easily. The moment she is out of earshot, William leans in. He whispers vilely to Sebastian, "When you're done with her, pass her over to me." Sebastian's fist clenches until his knuckles turn white. He warns William through gritted teeth not to lay a finger on her. But as he threatens, William cuts him off with a single toxic name, Blair. The older brother mocks him, asking if he is still broken over what happened with Blair. He arrogantly implies that he can't help it if someone is interested in him, twisting the knife in Sebastian's old wound. Fury explodes within Sebastian as he shoots up from his chair. The family flinches at the sudden movement, and his mother demands to know what is wrong. Leaning on the table, head lowered to hide his expression, he forces out a denial. Nothing is going on. He spins around and storms toward the exit, claiming he needs fresh air before he loses control completely. William remains seated, the king of the ruins, a malicious, Machiavellian smirk playing on his lips as he watches his brother flee. Outside, the estate boasts a sprawling courtyard filled with shadows and silence. Erica sits alone on a bench, bathed in moonlight. Sebastian approaches the solitary figure, his voice softer now as he asks what she is doing out there alone. Taking the seat beside her, he reveals his insecurity. He confesses he was terrified that Erica might have been swayed by William's charm. She looks at him, stunned that he could ever think that. As for William, Erica swore she would never fall for his cheap tricks. Men like him were the villains of her story. She remarked that Sebastian's brother played with hearts just like Stanley did. A twisted game of manipulation. Sebastian didn't hesitate for a second. His voice dropped, dark and possessive, vowing that William would never breathe the same air as her again. She nodded in agreement, stunned by the sudden intensity in his eyes. Why did he sound so deadly serious? Desperate to shift the mood, she asked for a critique of her acting. Sebastian confessed he was genuinely caught off guard. She was born for the stage. He teased that her blush seemed a little too real when she described their fateful meeting. Did you rehearse that in the mirror? Erica scoffed, trying to regain her composure. Hardly difficult, she shot back, considering you're as stiff as a board. Sebastian stopped cold. Say that again, he challenged. What kind of man did she take him for? He stepped closer, demanding she repeat herself, his gaze locking onto hers and searching her very soul. Flustered and cornered, she stammered the only excuse she could find. I meant, we look stiff together. Heat rushed to both their cheeks. She reached out to fix his messy hair, but he just stood there, watching her every move. Then he leaned in to adjust hers. My family might get suspicious if we aren't intimate, he whispered. Her jaw dropped. She stared at him as if he had grown a second head. In your dreams, she practically shouted, unable to process the audacity of his suggestion. A rare smirk touched his lips. Just kidding. Returning to the glittering, chandelier-lit hall, the interrogation began immediately. Where have you two been? Erica bowed her head, playing the part perfectly. Forgive me. I felt faint and needed the courtyard air. Sebastian's mother smiled with a knowing glint in her eyes. I understand completely, my dear. Suddenly, Sebastian pulled her into a back hug that froze time. He dropped the bombshell that shook the heavens. We are expecting a child. I, Sebastian Phillips, will be a father. Before the room could explode, he added gravely, we must leave now. My Tiffany is feeling fragile. Erica followed him, her mind completely blank. She was walking, but her soul had left her body. Panic clawed at her throat. She had to escape abort mission. She needed to leave this entire insane reality behind because her limit had been shattered. Night fell as the car tore down the road. Sebastian, she screamed, her voice shattering the silence. Have you lost your mind? She raged. Pregnant? What on earth were you thinking with that lie? She couldn't believe he had taken the script way too far. You should have told them the truth, she cried out in frustration. Sebastian drove on, stone-faced and silent against her verbal assault. Finally, he spoke, his voice calm and cold. Our entire relationship is a lie, isn't it? We are a fake couple. Erica blinked, confused. So, what is one more lie on top of the pile? She couldn't grasp his twisted logic. They accepted us because of that lie, he countered. They believe I am the father. That protects you. It opened their hearts. Erica felt a headache coming on. Don't say things you don't mean just because you don't care about the consequences, she pleaded. Panic set in. What if the Raymonds found out? It would be a catastrophe of epic proportions. Where are we even going? She demanded. Michael's place, he replied casually. For the pajama party. Check your texts. I told you to pack. A party now. She groaned in disbelief. Suddenly, her phone buzzed. It was Jude. Are you pregnant? He shouted before she could even say hello. The rumor has already infected the entire family tree, Jude exclaimed. No, she shrieked. It was a skit, a ploy, a dramatic embellishment to make everyone believe we're in love. Jude's voice turned serious on the other end. But what about that first night, the day you met? You went straight from the club to the hotel, he reminded her. Did you use protection? Erica froze. I think so, she stammered, doubt creeping into her voice. A flashback hit her a wrapper on the floor. She remembered touching it. Yes, she exclaimed, relief washing over her. I definitely saw a wrapper. We were safe. But are you sure it didn't tear? Jude pressed. Are you trying to kill me? She snapped back. Then Sebastian chimed in from the driver's seat. I cannot confirm the structural integrity of the prophylactic. Erica glared at him. Are you both trying to drive me insane? Calm down, Erica. Jude soothed through the phone. Just tell me. When was your last cycle? The world stopped spinning. She calculated the days since waking up in this chaotic drama universe. Amid the schemes and survival, she hadn't bled once. Because of the sudden question, she answers Jude honestly she has no idea when her last cycle was. Upon hearing this confession, Jude drops the bombshell on the girl. She is pregnant. Denial instantly floods her mind, and she snaps back. asking if the entire world has gone completely insane. Desperate for sanity, Erica turns to Sebastian, demanding to know if he truly believes this absurdity. He hesitates, admitting he doesn't know the truth. But if a life has been created, they must raise the baby. The girl stands frozen, unable to process the words striking her ears. Sebastian's mind races ahead, projecting a future where they buy a house with a garden and perhaps even adopt a loyal dog. He even begins pondering names for their unborn child, Haley Alex, sighing heavily. Erica shoves the car door open, convinced the father of this alleged baby is absolutely incorrigible. But Erica's escape attempt fails as a terrifying realization roots her to the spot. She might actually become the mother of an American baby, all while trapped inside a body that belongs to the character Tiffany Raymond. She thought she had transmigrated into a high-stakes teenage drama, not some twisted parody of the American show Modern Family. Even as the night deepened, her inner agitation refused to settle. Cars rushed past like streaks of light in the darkness. Trapped inside Sebastian's car, she stares blankly out the passenger window, her mind reeling at the impossibility of being pregnant in this world. The weight of her situation crashes down on her. She recalls the chaos since her arrival, sleeping with Sebastian immediately, and even pretending to date him. But a pregnancy, that was crossing the line. It is the tragic fate of a Korean girl who went from failing college entrance exams back home to being knocked up at 17 in a strange land. Regret pierces her soul. She should have consumed some harmless PG-13 drama, not indulged in restricted content from that cursed site. Perhaps if her tastes were more innocent, she wouldn't be suffering in this chaotic reality now, she thinks. From the driver's seat, Sebastian watches Erica muttering to herself, wondering if her suffering is entirely his fault. He concludes she is losing her mind and resolves to find a way to comfort her shattering heart. Seb murmurs that perhaps none of this would be happening if neither of them had returned to Washington, D.C., but as the words leave his lips, he notices the girl has begun to weep. Through her tears, she chokes out a question to Sebastian. Does he really think she wants to be in this nightmare? Seeing Erica cry uncontrollably, the boy panics and tries to soothe her trembling form. Watching her sob, he whispers that he never wanted this outcome for them. Between gasps, Erica voices her true desires to eat crispy tempura with tteokbokki and to scream her lungs out at a karaoke bar until the pain fades. Suddenly, the car brakes abruptly. Sebastian leaps out, tearing open the passenger door to pull Erica from the vehicle. He takes her hand, and the moment she steps out, he pulls her into a tight embrace. Sebastian apologizes for everything, his voice trembling as he swears it was never his intention to hurt her. Erica simply weeps, buried deep in his arms. He admits quietly that he is unskilled at comforting others. Realizing she is crying against his chest and that he hugged her so suddenly, her heart races at their proximity. Yet, his gaze hardens with resolve. He declares that he has no intention of running away from this reality. Confused, she asks what he means, but Seb vows that no matter what decision Erica makes, he will take full responsibility for everything. Moved by his sincerity, she nods in agreement. And Sebastian pleads with her to stop crying, admitting he feels helpless when she breaks down like this. Gently, he brushes the hair from her face. But as he does, he freezes. Erica's makeup is completely ruined by her flood of tears. He is left speechless by the sight of her mascara-stained face. Trying to help, the boy offers his jacket, but she flatly refuses the gesture. Moments later, the couple arrives at Michael's luxurious estate. Sebastian's blonde friend opens the door, welcoming them with a casual air. Immediately, Michael notices Erica's disastrous makeup, and Sebastian stands there, at a loss for words. Michael recoils, stepping back and warning her not to come closer. His pajamas are far too expensive to be stained. The blonde boy retreats up the stairs, claiming he will feel better once he changes into something less vulnerable. Erica enters the house, rolling her eyes at Michael's arrogance. Suddenly, the heavy footsteps of another approach. Erica comes face to face with Sebastian's red-haired friend, Jacob, who is boldly wearing white Crocs. He informs them that Marcus is on the way, then turns on his heel to disappear into another room. Indifferent as ever, Erica turns to Sebastian, insecurity rising as she asks if she is truly welcome in this sanctuary because the cold shoulder feels real. Sebastian tries to salvage the mood, insisting his friends are always this quirky. He adds that she simply needs to get closer to the group. He reminisces that when he was dating Blair, the five of them were inseparable, constantly going out together. Suddenly, Michael reappears, decked out in a ridiculous pink sweatsuit. The blonde boy declares that now, Erica can cry as much as she wishes without ruining his silk. He adds that Blair used to cry in his arms just like this, though he is shocked by how Erica ignores his charm. Baffled, Sebastian asks Michael where on earth he acquired such an outfit. With zero shame, Michael replies that they belong to his mother. Beneath a canopy of shimmering stars, the night wraps around Michael's house where everyone has gathered. The quiet is broken by the soft creak of a door. Erica enters the room, dressed in her pajamas, her presence instantly shifting the atmosphere. The atmosphere in the bedroom is electric as the four friends gather. Michael perches on a small stool, while Sebastian, Jacob, and their brunette companion lounge across the bed like kings holding court. Gazing at them, Erica feels her heart flutter, struck by the blinding charisma of this impossibly attractive quartet. Her cheeks burn with sudden heat as she realizes they look less like students and more like a top-tier boy band posing for a magazine cover. Just as she navigates the room, the doorbell shatters the mood. Michael strides over to answer it, revealing Jude standing on the threshold. Michael proudly displays his mother's sweatsuit, but Sebastian's cousin immediately counters, insisting that he is the true fashion icon deserving of the spotlight. Watching from the sidelines, Erica chuckles to herself. The two of them bickering over style creates a scene straight out of a comedy sketch. Amidst the chaos, Erica casually lifts a cup to her lips for a refreshing sip. Jude's eyes widen in sheer panic. He dashes across the room, shouting a frantic warning to stop her immediately. Erica tries to stammer that it is non-alcoholic juice, but Jude snatches the cup away instantly, his voice cutting through the noise. That is dangerous for the baby. All she can manage to say is, "Juice!" But the damage is done. Across the room, Michael freezes, his mind reeling as he tries to process the bombshell he just overheard. Baby. The word hangs in the air like a thick fog. Every single one of Sebastian's friends turns in unison, their faces masks of pure shock. Hands on heads and hips, the group demands answers from Jude. Did he really just say baby? Meanwhile, Sebastian wears the weary expression of a man completely exhausted by this drama. The tension peaks as Sebastian's friends voice the question on everyone's mind. Are you two actually going to be parents? And that is where we leave our chaotic cast for today. I hope you are enjoying this roller coaster ride. What are your thoughts on this unfolding mess? What scenes have you on the edge of your seat? And can we talk about that disastrous family dinner? The awkwardness was so thick you could cut it with a knife. The secondhand embarrassment was practically lethal. Erica is clearly drowning in this situation, and her desperation radiates from every single frame. Are you on Team Erica or Team Sebastian? Who truly bears the blame for this tangled web of misunderstandings? Drop your theories in the comments below. The title of this manhwa is Once Upon a One-Night Mistake, and this recap covers up to chapter 14. If you are craving more drama, smash that like button and subscribe to the channel so you never miss a beat of the action.